Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today, we've got 6 things we learned from Chelsea 2, Leicester City 1. Apologies, it is a little bit late, but obviously in the next 3 days, we have got the remaining 72 hours of the transfer market. We got Southampton away on Tuesday night as well, so there's going to be tons of content for you lot in the next couple of days. Before we do get into anything though, I was back on the Last Fan Standing episode over on the Bet Victor YouTube channel. Last week, we were discussing a multitude of different things, a little bit of Chelsea, a little bit of Liverpool. The best start, that's a fact, but I think the worst thing and the most concerning thing for me is the performances, because Everton, we stumbled over the line there, and I think everybody is expecting this season to get something against Everton. I mean, Forest almost went there and got the same result as us, apart from like a goal with 2 minutes to go. I think the problem for Chelsea right now, I'm hoping that by next week, when we record again, I'm hoping it's going to be resolved, because it looks as though we're actually pulling our finger out and trying to spend a bit of money, which, if ever there was like a silver lining for going to Leeds and losing 3-0, which is, again, another rival of Chelsea. There's a lot of history behind Chelsea versus Leeds over the years. And I think that the way we were dismantled is one thing, but it was just the lack of anything really, like intensity-wise. Make sure you go and check out the link in the description down below. Check out the full episode, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be on there a lot this season over the course of the next few months. Link is in the description. Chelsea 2, Leicester City 1. It is a big result this for Chelsea, considering we played over an hour of football with only 10 men, Thomas Tuchel in the stands, as opposed to being on the touchline. Even at the end of the game, when he tries to go down on the field, he's not even allowed on the pitch. Little bit pedantic, if you ask me, with the rules and whatnot, just to be able to go on the pitch and say thank you to the fans, but it is what it is. It's not important. Chelsea got the job done against the Leicester team, who, if we would have drawn, and Leicester hit the crossbar in the final few minutes of the game too, so if we wouldn't have got this win, whether we ended up with 10 men or not, lots of questions will have continued to be asked. Pressure, which is already on Tuchel, I think, at this point, because when you look at the Chelsea squad and you look at the areas in which we have strengthened in, Wesley Fofana is, of course, now a Chelsea player, which is excellent news. But considering the attack is still a bit of a worry, Raheem Sterling scoring 2 could have easily had himself a hat-trick and also an assist if Ruben would have converted that chance in the first half too. It is a massive result. The pressure is on, because in the next 72 hours, there are deals that Chelsea have been working on, but up until this point, they're not done yet. So we want to see Aubameyang come through the door. We've been linked now to Wilfried Zaha. There will be another video out later on today discussing the news, but we begin with a blue box for Raheem Sterling. This was a massive game for Raheem. He got an assist in the first home game at Stamford Bridge for Reece James. But to score in the fashion that he did with the first goal is a beautiful, beautiful finish. He sees the keeper slightly off his line, dips it over the top and into the top corner where it kind of lands in the bottom corner. But even the second one, I want to talk about the second goal. The first goal is a beautiful finish. The second goal that Raheem Sterling scores, how many times have we seen Reece James put those whip crosses into the 6-yard box where the goalkeeper and the defender of the opposition, they don't know whether or not they should even go for the ball? How many times have we seen Havertz sliding in there, Mount, Timo Werner sliding in there, not able to finish it off? I could probably at least need another 2 hands to count how many times we have seen that Reece James ball into the box. Raheem Sterling is there, and even though it's a tap-in, he's in the right place, and his movement and the way that he holds off the run, knowing exactly where that ball's going to go. Erling Haaland scored a similar goal for City at the weekend. I think it was to make it 3-2, the tap-in. We need someone like Raheem Sterling to be able to do that. He could have had a hat-trick, as we said earlier on. It's a brilliant, brilliant performance from Raheem. I think even if people could still say, well, he should have finished the one where it hit the post. Could have also had an assist if Ruben would have been able to convert, which he really needs to, from that position. But Raheem Sterling, off the mark in a Chelsea shirt, brilliant celebrations. The photos were epic as well. Raheem Sterling is box number 1. Moving into box number 2. I was thinking about who the blue box should go to. If it wasn't because Sterling scores his first goals, Thiago Silva could have easily got himself a blue box as well. It was a flawless performance, and I think the thing I find crazy, in a month's time, Thiago Silva turns 38 years old, yet we're not just talking about a Rolls Royce. We are talking maybe about one of the best centre-backs there's ever been. And I know that is a very bold statement to make, but when you look at what Thiago Silva's done, the way that he is continuing to seemingly get better, like a fine Italian wine with age, even though he's Brazilian, but fine Italian wines are my personal favourites. Let me know yours in the comments below. Thiago Silva was immense in this game. When Chelsea went down to 10 men, we had to adjust the shape. Thomas Tuchel started it, and it looked as though we were going with a back four, which we know Thiago Silva in a back four isn't at his best. He's better in a back three in that central position. And I think as much as I called for a back four, I think what we saw, even though we started well, I think Chelsea looked better, weirdly, as soon as we went to wing-backs in a back three again. Thiago Silva marshalled the back line perfectly, and it was a monumental performance from him in a game where it could have easily gone so much worse for Chelsea, considering that Gallagher red card that we're going to talk about in a moment. But Thiago Silva, monstro. Absolutely brilliant performance from him. Box number 3, I've given a yellow to Eduard Mendy. And the reason I've given a yellow is simply because of the goal that Leicester scores. I don't think Harvey Barnes should be scoring at Eduard Mendy's near post. And I said it the week before, with the Mendy error that we saw against Leeds, I thought it was time for Kepa to play in this game. And again, Mendy beaten at the near post. It's the second week in a row where we can look at it and say, he should have done better. I'm not going to throw Mendy under the bus, and I think there is a little problem at the moment with some people in the Chelsea community where they think criticism means that we're just trying to cancel a player, where we're trying to build agendas. It's not quite the case, but the expectations of Mendy are very, very high. And when there is a player of Kepa's ability on the bench, 72 hours to go in the transfer window, he's still a Chelsea player. At this rate, I still think Kepa deserves a shot. We move into box number 4. Conor Gallagher. It's a yellow. And the reason I've given him a yellow is because, again, I don't want to look as though I'm trying to start an agenda saying that Conor Gallagher isn't good enough, because I think Conor is more than good enough to have a role in this Chelsea team. The thing that I think is the issue at the moment, in the first couple of games we've seen Gallagher starting, where he gets a red card after 28 minutes in this one. The first yellow, the reason I've given it a yellow is because I don't think the first one is even a yellow card in the first place. So when you look at the tackle to get him the second yellow, there's no criticism of the referee from me here. It is a second yellow card, and then he's got to go. But I think the problem at the moment with Conor is he looks as though he's trying a little bit too hard. And I think he's got all of the ability. We saw it at Palace. He's saying to Tuchel there might be a chance he still leaves in this window. He's saying that he wants guaranteed game time. And I think he'll get it, but the issue is with Kante, Kovacic. Those are the two mainstays. I thought Jorginho had a good game. I thought it was one of his better games in recent times against Leicester at the weekend. But for Conor, I think he just needs to relax a little bit. I think he's trying super hard to cement the place in the team, which allows petulance to come in. It allows those kind of errors to come in. 2 yellows in the first half an hour. You can't be doing that. And Chelsea are kind of lucky, and Conor's lucky really, that we got 3 points. Otherwise, I think the heat that he would have received as a result of this would have been a little too hot to handle. But I'm not giving it a red because I think the first one isn't a booking in my book. I've looked at it a few times, and for me, it's not even a yellow card. So we move into box number 5. It is a green for Kai Havertz. Now, some people said that Havertz, again, no goal. It was the work rate from Kai Havertz. And I know there's also a little thing at the moment amongst some people saying you can't just praise a player for the work rate. If Kai Havertz is being used as a forward, then he's got to be scoring goals. And if he's not scoring goals, he's got to be getting assists. I thought Kai Havertz was brilliant in this game because of the way that Chelsea were forced to adjust the shape during the match due to that red card. And then what Havertz does so well is he gets back. I think he ran more than anybody else on the field. And that's exactly what we need. Sometimes it isn't necessarily about padding out your stats and Havertz trying to answer his own individual critics. At the moment at Chelsea, there's been an issue this summer with maybe not bringing in all of the players that we might have wanted. There's a lot of players at the club who are frustrated about game time, and as a result of that, they want to leave Chelsea. Kai Havertz isn't one of those. So to be able to see Kai adopt different roles and change his own game style in play as a result of other things externally that go on around him is a massive sign of the man's ability. He's only 23 years old, scored the winning goal in a Champions League final. Some people are willing to write this guy off already. Absolutely not in my book. I thought it was an exceptional, professional display from Kai Havertz, and that leads me into box number 6, the final box of the day. I've given this one to Thomas Tuchel because what we saw in this game is Tuchel's brilliance as a manager. When Chelsea went down to 10 men, Thomas Tuchel's not there on the sidelines to be able to bark and shout orders. So the fact that the Chelsea players, my phone's just going off, the fact that Chelsea players knew exactly what to do in terms of that shape change when Conor Gallagher was sent off, I think that is testament to the management, testament to the tactical implementation that we're trying to put in. Raheem Sterling wins the game for us. New signing, £47.5 million. Scores 2 in a match where for over an hour we play with 10 men. And I think the way that we adopted different formations during this game, both in transition, defence and attack, I thought it was excellent. And considering the manager wasn't even on the sidelines, I think it just goes to show just how much of an elite manager we have at our football club. But anyway, sorry this video is a little bit late. It's a busy weekend for me, but we're back now. It is 72 hours to go in the transfer window. So make sure you are subscribed to GBFC. If you haven't already done so, turn on the bell notifications. Come on, you Blues.